asked me to talk about give and take, and I'm actually, okay, thank you for recording the meeting. I don't know you, but I love divine principle, and I become like a very study person with that, and yeah, it's just like you can take out so much, you know. And they asked me to talk about this, and then like, oh, this topic is important, and this that, and this that, and that. So I'm gonna get started, and I hope that the time is good, and I hope you like it. And yeah, we have a 10 years old here. I don't know if she's supposed to be here, but it's okay,
Sending.
just to let you know. Well, I'm gonna need to ask for a volunteer, like 2 volunteers who can read the quotes that I'm gonna put. You can take turns, one on each other. Who would like to be volunteer to read quotes? I have kind of some few quotes. Okay, we have there, I don't know your name, but it's a Jacob. Yeah, great. So we have one, Jacob. Who else? One more person. One person would like to volunteer to read. Dun, dun, dun. Great, thank you. Hi, what was your name? I know you, Martinez.
Hello, Queen Martinez.
Your name what?
Queen Martinez.
Queenan. Okay, thank you, Queenan. Great, so let's get it started. See. Right. Perfect. Can you see well? Yeah?
Oh, good.
Right. Thank you. So we are going to talk today about give and receive. Sometimes I say take, but I think receive is a better word. And how this is applied on the family and our daily life, you know? So the topics that we're going to be talking is give and receive, how this principle works. Being a great object, why it's important and how can we do that? Being a great subject, why it's important and how can we do that? And just a short conclusion. All right. So those are going to be the topics, the main 3 topics and the conclusion. So let's get started. Give and receive, how it works. Jacob, can you read this?
Okay. Through the agency of universal prime energy, the subject and object elements of every entity form a common base and enter into interaction. This interaction, in turn, generates all the forces the entity needs for existence, multiplication and action. The interaction generating these forces through this process is called give and take action.
Great. So give and take action is the force, no? Is the action that creates the force for existence, multiplication, and action for everything, you know? It's like it's not a small thing, it's such a big thing, and it's opposed to sharing. So it's a big thing, and it is really important to understand this principle so we can understand how we can use it for our sake and for God's sake. So yeah, one more quote about this, and the next volunteer, Martinez, Juanji Martinez.
All material things are composed of energy, but energy cannot come into existence by itself. Unless a reciprocal standard is set, giving and receiving does not occur and energy cannot come to exist. You generate energy through the giving and receiving action of your entire body. Energy is generated in proportion to this action. Before there can be energy, there must be giving and receiving action. Then what initiates such action? Nothing can do this by itself. An object partner is needed. This is the absolute requirement for the appearance of all beings. If there is no object partner, there is no giving and receiving action. From the Chonsan Yuan.
Great, thank you so much. So again, without giving and take, without giving and receive, There's nothing, there's no energy, there's no creation, there's no multiplication, there's nothing. So let's talk about how this works. So give and receive. There is a kind of principle for give and receive. First, we need someone and we need an object partner, a subject partner and an object partner. The subject partner starts the action. Okay, that's the one who starts. The one who starts the action is the subject. Then the subject creates the purpose of the interaction. Okay, so based on the subject partner start interaction based on an intention, a motivation, and when the object partner receives that interaction, you know, that person is receiving the same purpose as well, isn't it? So the subject is the one starting the interaction. The subject create the purpose of the interaction, and the object accept the interaction through receiving. So the object can receive or not receive the subject interaction. And I'm sharing this like more technical because we're gonna go deeper on that. But there are principles that are way important. So when the objects receive interaction from the subject, it connects with the same purpose. All right. And how accepts that interaction through receiving? Well, it says in the divine principle. And Jacob, can you read?
The emotional force that the subject partner gives to the object partner is called love. The emotional force that the object partner returns to the subject partner is called beauty. The force of love is active, and the stimulation of beauty is passive.
Great, thank you. So there's a concept of love and beauty, all right? And what this mean? Like receiving doesn't mean that you know that there is a arrow. There's always when we talk about give and take, there's an arrow to the subject, from the object to the subject. And this arrow from the object to the subject doesn't mean that the object has to give something to the subject. It means that it receives that. But when we receives through beauty, and the subject gives love is active, and the object returns that energy, that force through beauty, which is a passive. As now it seems like what you're talking to me, but let's share the principles and then let's go practical. And then one more principle more, the objects receive at his spiritual, intellectual, and emotional level. So what does mean? It means that, for example, I'm the subject and I want to interact, have a give and receive interaction with the dog, but the dog has an intellectual level lower than me. And the dog is not going to receive on the subject level, in my level. It's going to receive on his level. Okay. So he's going to receive on his, on when I interact with the dog, he's going to receive on his level. Okay. So what this mean? Sometimes we feel like God doesn't interact with us, right? Because we feel like, oh, why I cannot receive God? Why I cannot interact directly with God? Why I cannot feel God? But sometimes it's not about God wanted us or not. It's not about the subject who is loving us. It's about the object, us, that we cannot feel, you know? Who is like, we cannot feel who is, what is the level, the love that we are receiving from God. Okay, let's read and try to explain so you can understand. Juanjin Martinez, can you read?
All right. God should not create and do everything for us. God is to fulfill 95%, and human beings should fulfill the other 5% as their responsibility. Only after we fulfill our portion can we stand on an equal plane with God, acting cooperatively with Him. Then we can rightfully give and receive love with God, the absolute subject partner, in an equal position as His object partners. This is how the ideal of love is fulfilled. Without accomplishing our portion of responsibility, we cannot merit the honor of standing in an equal position with God and receiving His ideal love. This is why God allocated us a portion of responsibility to give us the status whereby we are able to receive His love.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is the last slide that is going to be like intellectual based, but these four principles are very important. Okay, so as we just read, no, the object received at his spiritual, intellectual, and emotional level, and like Martinez was reading, like God cannot interact with us completely at 100%, not because He doesn't want. It's like, oh, you, like dear human, what dare you? I'm not gonna interact with you. You are so like you you don't deserve to interact with me. It's not that. It's just like God cannot interact with us because we are at a different level. So even if He interacts with us, He interacts at our level. All right. And it's the same of if we are interacting with a baby, the baby is not interacting at our level. We're not having a conversation about astronomy with a baby. We're having a baby conversation with a baby, right? So you're gonna understand, the object is gonna understand based on his level. So let's repeat these four principles so it can become clear for us. The first one is starting the action. Okay, so the one who starts the action, give and love in an active way, that's the subject. The subject creates the purpose of the interaction, right? So based on who is the subject, who starts interaction, who creates the purpose of that interaction. Okay. Third, the object offset the interaction through receiving. And receiving doesn't mean giving. Receiving means a passive action that is expressed through beauty. And we're gonna be talking about that. And four, the objects received at his spiritual, intellectual, and emotional level. All right. So is the subject might want to love us, but we receive just on the level of our as the object on our level. Okay. So sometimes we love God's love is everywhere, but sometimes we are not on the level of God to feel that love, you know. So it's not about blaming God because we don't feel His love. It's us to be able to get a higher level so we can feel better love. So we're gonna be talking about that in the next topics, becoming a great object and becoming a great subject, and understanding why these principles are very important. Okay. So, being a great object, why is important to learn how to receive and how to do it? Okay, so I'm gonna read this. According to the laws of mechanics, the output volume can never be greater than the input volume. If it's were so with respect to love, then when God will love with all of his being, he will gradually empty himself. That is why he created the principle by which love can give more than you receive. And that is why authentic relationship between parents and children, true couple relationship, and between brothers and sisters are created through altruistic love. The genuineness of those relationships is spent on maintaining the pattern of sacrifice. Children know that their parents really love them when they sacrifice for them. Although the sacrifice is painful, when children are completely grateful and reciprocate with their parents' love, parents feel even greater joy. And from this quote, I want to focus on the last part. Although the sacrifice is painful, when children are completely grateful and reciprocate their parents' love, parents feel even a greater joy. What this mean? It means parent choice comes when their children can receive their love, you know? So let me ask you this. How can I receive love of my parents? What do you think? Three people that can turn off your mic and share like how can I receive love of my parents? What is your opinion? How can you receive love of your parents? Jeremy, how can you receive love of your parents? Someone that would like to know, like that have an idea?
He commented in the chat. So Jeremy said,
Oh,
just exist, I guess. No strings attached to parental love.
good. Anyone else? Yeah, you can comment in the chat. Just let me know because I cannot see it.
I'll read them out if you comment in the chat.
Great. Someone else? How can you receive the love of your parents? All right. I see. I think we're out of ideas. So let's talk about it. Right. So, as Jeremy was saying, there's nothing specific you have to do to receive God of your parents. The way they want you to receive God of their loves is through joy, through beauty. What it means beauty? Beauty doesn't mean being beautiful. Beauty means a positive energy. How to say it? It's like when you have a gift and you someone and that person is like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, thank you, oh I love this, or you make up such a great food and they're like, oh, this tastes so amazing, this is so amazing, and like you see the beauty through their energy, through their love, so that means beautiful. That means beauty, return beauty. It's passive, but it requires, it's an energy still. Through gratefulness, through filial piety, through happiness, And who are the the best receivers? Like for me, this is my example. The best receivers are dogs. Dogs are such a great receivers of love, They never, like, they never give you anything. They just want food. They just want love. They never give you anything to you. But don't you feel so much love when you had to love a dog? When you had to pet a dog? It's like you want to pet them because they're so cute. They give you that's beauty, like they come to you like, give me love, give me love, give me love. Yes, of course I want to give you love, because through the process of giving love to the dog you feel joy, and those are the receivers. Others who are great receivers are babies. Babies are so great receivers. They're like, they just want love for them. They never give love to you, they're very selfish, very they're very selfish. They just want love for them. But when you give them a little bit of love, they're just like a smile to you, and like they do funny noises and like and they're so happy. So dogs and baby, I think that's a great way of like an example of being people or animals who are great receivers. And there's so much joy of giving love to people who are great receivers, right? And God and our parents want us to be great objects. What it means to be a great object means to be a great receiver, right? Isn't it incredible? It's like this is as important as any being a subject. We always talk about giving love, but being a great receiver, it is so important, because there's so much joy that the giver can receive through you returning beauty to them. So God doesn't want you to give them something, or your parents doesn't want you to give them something. They just want you to be a great receiver, like a kid or like a dog, and like if you want love, go and like give me love, and there's such a beauty on that, you know but what is the problem? What happens when we when in our life we don't feel like that. We don't feel joy, we don't feel beauty, we don't feel gratefulness, we don't feel happiness or filial piety. Well, True Father is kind of long quote. Jacob, can you read it?
Being ill means one of these paths is blocked. If the plus or minus path is blocked, we do not meet the universe's standard. The universe protects us when we realize the ideal of partnership, but the universal force will repel us to whatever degree we fail to match that ideal. Repelling force appears as pain. If I poke you, it hurts, doesn't it? The pain is not caused by illness, but by universal energy. It is a warning. You feel this way because you did not succeed in giving and receiving, or in creating a harmonious relationship between subject and object partners. Unless you release that which is blocked and create harmony, you will have no place in the universe. The universe protects that which is in harmony.
Great. So what it means, this quote means that when we don't feeling like joy, grateful, it's because inside ourselves we're looking to receive that love, that energy, you know. So inside us, there's like give and take that are blocked. They're blocked, and we're not receiving that energy. So what this means, when we're not feeling this way, we need to really unblock those channels of give and take inside ourselves. So we need to go through the action of give and take or give and receive inside ourselves. So what this means? Well, the first blessing, the first blessing through meditation, through exploring, through knowing yourself, is a way that the first step you need to go through in order to be a great receiver, So it's kind of funny. Oh, do I need to be focused on myself to be a great receiver? Yes, exactly. Because when you don't focus about yourself and you are your own internal channels are blocked, that's what starts to happen, right? We start to feel unblocked, we start to feel negative, we start to feel like down, and we're not great receivers. Even if our parents, even if God is love, we're not able to receive that love. So whenever we feel that way, we need to focus on ourselves, the first blessing, and really unblock whatever inside ourselves is becoming is a block. You understand? So, okay, so we don't have so much time. So let's talk about becoming a great subject. Why is important to learn and how to become that? So let's go back to this very boring intellectual part, but it is important because we talk that the subject is the one starting the action and the ones that create the purpose of the interaction. So if the subject is connected with God, if the objects receive that love through beauty, the object automatically connects with God as well. But it can happen that there's some interactions where the subject wants to interact with us, but that person is connecting the purpose and the motivation of that interaction is actually not so good. It's more evil or more selfish, right? So if we receive that interaction and we continue give and take with that interaction, the object gets connected through here, right? So there's in the fallen nature of the fallen, there's the third fallen nature is reversing dominion. And reversing dominion was because Lucifer, who was supposed to be the object of Eve, he became the subject. And Eve, who was supposed to be the subject of Lucifer, she became the object, right? So what that means, sometimes it's not just the fallen nature is not just about me becoming the subject, but sometimes it's me, I'm supposed to be on the object in the subject position, but I allow myself to be on the object position. So sometimes we need to be careful about who we are interacting with, because we need to change. Why there's a slight miss here, but we need to change a position to be to either connect with a subject that is connected with God, or us to change as a subject connected with God through that interaction. And that is important because sometimes we receive influences that are not so great, right? There are friends that are trying to connect us with things that are not so good. So, what do we do in those cases? We need to become the subject. We need to be the ones who decide, okay, this is the purpose of our relationship, and this is how we are going to interact. And if not, it's better to leave that relationship. And for that, we need to be very strong with our subject, very connected with the people who we know that they're going to connect us with God. So, how we can be a great subject? Well, we need to know how to express love in a good way. So for that, I just want to talk a little bit about the 5 love languages. You know, who knows here the 5 love languages? You know? Yeah? No? Never hear about it? Yeah? No? Yes, Josh knows.
Freedom said French.
We have. Yeah. So the 5 love languages are gift. So what it means, like love language is the way you talk love, when how you express love, how you receive love. So sometimes in interactions, we are loving each other, but we're loving each other in different languages. So we don't feel the love of each other. So that's why we need to know about the 5 love languages so we can know how to give love right and how to receive love right. So love languages are gift. I give love through gifts and I receive love through gifts. So these kind of people, they love to receive something from someone, a piece of chocolate or a keychain when they travel, or something small or big that they love. They receive so much love through gifts. Other people receive love through words of affirmation. So, like if someone told them, I'm so proud of you, you are so great, you are incredible, they receive so much love through those words. Other people receive love through quality time, spending time together. I feel so much love together, you know? Or like let's go for a walk, and it's not about the action itself, it's the time spending together that makes this person feel love. Other kind of love language is physical contact, you know, like touching each other, embracing each other, and hugging each other, so you feel love through physical contact. And another love language is act of service, serving the other person. So why this love language? Serving the other person means like cooking something for that person, helping them in their homeworks, doing something for them that they think that is important. You know, so for example, your mom maybe cooked you your favorite meal one day, you know, or she helped you to do a project for school, things like that. So why these 5 love languages are connected to become a subject? Well, for example, if I want to love my parents, and I'm, for example, quality time, and I spend a lot of quality time with my parents. My parents, they love language actually is act of service and word of affirmation. Even if I spend a bunch of time with them, they're gonna not gonna feel love, right? So we need to know which is their love languages. And how we know which is their love languages, we see how they love us. So my mom, for example, she loves to cook, and like, well, she never hug me, she never say anything to me, she never give me gifts, but she always like wanna, if I do something good, she will always like do great meals or help me with something, or help me clean something, or buy me food, or yeah. So definitely I can see that her love language is act of service. So if I want to love my mom, I know that I need to actually do something in the house, helping her, and that's she's gonna feel love. My dad, otherwise, he is words of affirmation. So even if I spend time with him, he feels love when I told him, "Dad, I love you. I'm so proud of you. I see your effort." So those words are very important for them. And how I spend like receive love, I tell them, hey, so I actually would like to receive love through quality time, so can we spend time together? And that will allow the interaction, give and receive interaction, in a very smoothly way. So what love language you think you have? Think about it. No, for now we can share it later, but think about it. So conclusion, we talk about give and receive. So learn how to receive from your parents or from the subject. It's very important. Let's try to become like doggies and babies who can be bright, who can joyfully receive, you know, gratefully receive, who can be the best receivers. True Father, although he was a great giver, he was a great receiver. My dad spent time into celebrating in Kodiak with True Father, and my father make they were fishing in Kodiak, and my dad made a ramen, um, for True Father to eat. So my dad prepared it with so much devotion, and then give it to True Father like this, thinking that maybe True Father will reject it. And how True Father was like 90 years old, 91 years old back then. And even with that age, he saw the lamb, and he opened his eyes like this, and he grabbed it, and ate it like crazy. And my dad was so joyful. He never said thank you, but the way he received the lemon, he was able to see, wow, he's so happy through this. And that was the most grateful, like the best way to receive my dad's love. So even True Father was a great receiver. If you don't feel joyful in yourself, focus on yourself, grow, be self-aware, feel good with yourself. That's the first step to be able to feel and give love. So sometimes focusing in yourself, it is really, really important to be able to unblock what, if there's anything that is blocking you inside yourself, it's gonna unblock the other interactions of give and take with others. So focus on unblock those give and take interactions inside yourself that are blocking you to feel joy, to feel happiness, to feel beauty, to be able to become that kind of person who can receive God's love. And from there, you can become a great subject and apply the 5 love languages to be able to feel and give love to others. And finally, we need to become subjects as well sometimes. Of course, we need to be great objects, but objects with the right subjects. Sometimes for example, in high school, for many times, I allow my friends from high school to become the subject. And what that means, like, I allow them to center the purpose of our relationship and follow what they were telling me to do. And many times that didn't really took me to the right path of interaction. So yeah, it was challenging, and it becomes kind of difficult because I love sometimes start a good interaction. Think about their purpose. Their purpose is their purpose self-love. Their purpose is center on God. And if their purpose is not centered on God, it's better to reject that interaction. You start being the subject with them. So just wanted to say that, and thank you, everyone. I hope it wasn't too much English.
Karina, could you just repeat that last part? You cut out during it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Could you just repeat that last part, Carina? You cut out during the end of that.
Oh, I know, just that. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I hope it wasn't so much information that you can just, I can send you the slides later. I can like take notes and think about it more.
Awesome. All right, everybody. With a big camp welcome and thank you. Give her a round of applause. Say thank you so much in the chat.